Welcome back to the show, everybody. Now, Craig sits down with Billy Martin Jr., and before this segment's over, I'm going to see if I can get him to fire Craig for us. How does that sound?
Hey, we're back at Hooters in Spring. Bill Martin. I want to call you Billy Martin Jr., but are you still considered Junior, or are you Billy Martin? You're your own man, or are you glad you're a junior? Or?
I'm very proud to be a junior. Actually, I always was Billy. My father called me Billy Joe. My mother called me BJ, and I was Billy to all my friends. I didn't have to start using the junior moniker until my father actually died. And believe it or not, I would introduce myself to somebody, and they'd say, "Oh, aren't you dead?"
Yeah.
And I get that all the time.
You're younger than I thought you would be. Anyway, Billy Martin is here with us. He's been kind enough to drive down from Arlington. He is a player agent. He and his group have about 30 athletes that they represent and manage, and probably make a lot more money than these struggling agents do. But he's also a former TV producer, so we knew he would be our man. The Bronx is Burning has been fabulously successful on ESPN. I think it's really well done. What's the family's take on it?
I love it. The guy that plays my father, John Turturro, has done so much research and does such a good job of doing my father's voice, the way he moves his eyes, mannerisms, the way he jogs.
What about the ears, though? I can't quite get by that.
Yeah,
I had no idea your dad was a Klingon.
As you can tell, I got my mom's ears, but yeah, they got a little carried away with the ears. Okay, the reason is if you look at him from just a straight profile shot, it does help him look more like my father. But when he turns and faces the camera, he looks like the cab with the doors open or something.
We all know he had his ups and downs with Reggie and with George Steinbrenner. Do you think that's been fairly depicted in the show?
I'm very impressed with the relationships they've got right. Those two guys, they're playing George and Reggie, just do a great job. When I'm looking at Oliver Platt, the guy that's playing George, the only thing that really, to me, isn't quite right is he's got a different kind of pouty kid look about him,
And George isn't like.
And George had a stern strength about it, like a football coach almost, which ironically is what he wanted to become.
Right.
But he could make you a little bit uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm sure. I've only met Mr. Steinbrenner once, and you'll note I do call him Mr. Steinbrenner. Yeah, he wanted to be a coach. He was an assistant at Purdue. Tell me about as an agent, and specifically the Astros. Everyone around here is up in arms over Tim Pecora. Does he know what he's doing? Can he pull off a meaningful trade? What's your take as we completely remove ourselves from the ESPN deal? But I want to know your thoughts as an agent in this.
Well, look, I mean, it's easy to be a backseat driver. I'll certainly say that first, but I think you had a great general manager here for a long time. I think Jerry Hunsaker, well, part of why he's brilliant is he is a former agent. So,
right, and I remember when chasing him around when he was trying to sign Glenn Davis, the first baseman, and then all of a sudden Jerry was a masterful general manager. But you're right. What do you think the Astros have to do? Do you think the city will put up with a 3 or 4 year rebuilding plan, as you know the people involved with the Astros?
I don't know. Living in Arlington and watching kind of what went down with the Rangers, and they had a great general manager there too that took that team to the playoffs when they'd never been there, and 3 out of 4 years. And when their general manager told the owner, "Hey, it's going to take 3 years. We're going to have to take a step back, rebuild," I guess he didn't want to hear that and let Doug Melvin leave and go to Milwaukee. Well, the day that happened, I said to a friend,
"What would you do?"
I bet they'll be in the playoffs before the Rangers will. Yeah. I almost feel the same way here. When Jerry left here to go to Tampa, a much maligned franchise, I almost feel like the things he's done there are going to help them down the road more than what's gone on here. But I think in the end, you got to break a general manager down by the moves that he makes, the guys he signs, and the trades he makes. And right now, I don't think those are in Tim's favor.
Billy Martin's been our guest. Watch The Bronx's Burning on ESPN, and even if you climb in on the third or fourth thing, you're going to have fun with it, and it won't be hard to figure out what the plot is, right? Featuring the late 70s, the Yankees, the turmoil, and this guy's dad was something to behold. Thank you, sir, for your time. We appreciate it.